Hi, ho everyone, my name is Mr. Fruit, and welcome back to the GG Over Easy Podcast, episode 177. In today's episode, we discuss a good bit of things. There's news of a brand new Harry Potter series on HBO. There's some Counter-Strike 2 drama already with the beta, as well as stonks still on the rise. News about Nintendo. Breath
You
of
give
the
your Mario
Wild.
review?
Get my Mario, no spoilers, but
No spoilers.
Thoughts on that? The Mario Cinematic Universe, the real MCU.
This will be here.
Other video game and stuff. Destiny 2 cracking down on cheaters, a whole bit. Q&A. You know how it is. It's the GG Over Easy Podcast. Thanks for joining us today. Hope you guys enjoy the episode. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
This episode of GG Over Easy is brought to you by BetterHelp. Becoming a content creator, I had to learn a lot about myself. There was a new kind of career I had. My hobby now became my job. I was kind of lost in the sauce and didn't really know how to handle the stresses of my new career and, trying to escape my job or, trying to play video games and feeling bad for not streaming while I'm playing video games. It was a whole thing. My therapist with BetterHelp actually taught me a lot of things about myself that I still use to this day. I think everybody should give therapy a try. And if you want conveniency, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to fit your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/GG today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/GG.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the GG Over Easy Podcast, episode 177. Thank you very much
69.
for sticking with us. I'll be honest, I don't know why, but there's a little bit of reflection last week where it's just like,
Oh,
177, bro, that's a lot,
it is. We've lived a life, a full life almost.
And pretty much all of it has not been the high production we started with.
Well, at this point,
just
90% of it, yeah.
It's pretty much all of it. It's just us on our cameras. Two
I
of
mean,
us on
if
our
we want
cameras.
to get
just
back
vibing.
to it, we could have, you could just do your full cam and then my full cam, but then I don't know,
Yeah, but then it doesn't really.
it still doesn't give that same effect. I don't know.
Well, plus you're like an hour away from him, right, Rob? So it's like
Hour and a half.
Yeah, about
it's a little bit of a trek.
But, well, I forget because it was I don't know why, but something was recommended on my other channel or whatever, some Dado GG podcast from a while ago or whatever. And I was just like, man, that looks old. I click on it. I'm like, yeah, it's September 2019 or whatever. I'm like, man, been a while. And if only we had known what we were about to be in store for.
Man.
And then where everything would go. Especially the podcast.
We had such a man, we were killing it with this podcast. And then
boom about that. COVID enters the chat.
I never thought COVID would be as crazy as it was. When it first kind of.
You remember? You remember? I was like, bro.
Yeah, you were like.
I was like that guy. The government's covering it up, man. It's happening,
it's crazy.
bro.
It's so crazy because in retrospective, when you were saying all those things about here's what's gonna happen, you talked about this dude who was it's spreading to this, and then by this time it's gonna be this many worldwide cases, and I was like, there's no way. That seems like a big overestimation.
Boom about that. Narrator.
It was basically almost as bad as that guy's predictions. So.
It eventually reached it all, but it wasn't quite as fast. But it was still,
Yeah, it's still to even get close to those estimations was Jesus Christ.
And now here we are, in our good Lord Father's year of 2023.
We made it, and only one of us has gotten COVID.
I still feel I feel like there was a period where all my symptoms matched.
Fruit feels like he got COVID. Rob's never had COVID?
No, I definitely totally
You had COVID. So we all got COVID.
But mine just felt like it. They didn't know what else it was. Literally, the test came back negative, and they're like, I don't know. could be a false negative, or it's just some other viral thing. So I'm like, okay, that's helpful.
Well, I'm sick, so
yeah. So I don't know. I got something that sucks. And I was about to say, almost mid 2023, spring. As I say that, it's snowing. So,
it was like 80. It was like 86 the other day.
Oh, bro,
okay.
I sunbathed a little bit. I was like, finally, bro. And here we are.
Can I ask you guys something? If this makes me weird. Okay, so let's say you leave your car outside parked.
Oh, I know what you're gonna. I know.
Okay, you leave your car parked outside. You go and do an activity. It's like 86 outside. So you get in your car. Your car is hot, right? Like, woo, like it's like that kind of car hot. Okay. Am I weird that I love that? And like, I don't immediately want to like air out my car and kind of bask in it. And like, if I'm not going anywhere like important, let me preface that. Like, if I'm just going to like, the dispensary or going to go grab some fast food, like I will just cook in the car because I like that feeling of, it's almost like a mini sauna kind of. Like it's like a free, and then you come out of the car because you come back home and you have a little bit of sweat, just a little nice little, like a little glaze,
hell.
like a little glaze, and then you're like, I kind of like did something today. That's why I like it.
I think like, I think it depends because like some days, like if I just came out of my house and then like I go to my nice hot car where it's like, it's not humid, it's just like that good dry, just I'm cooking. It definitely feels good. But like if I've already been outside for a while, I'm like, nah, this shit sucks balls.
For me, the only time my car's ever outside of a garage is like if I were to go to like the gym. So it would be getting out of the gym after a workout into balls hot car. No, I hate that. And I didn't have a choice for a while because back when I was driving the old man van back in the day, AC didn't work. So that thing got hot and you had to roll the windows down ASAP and hope that the wind wasn't hot. Yeah. And then you get on the highway and it's hot air in the hot car and you're just like, I'm dying. I guess this is how I die. I'm also just probably a little traumatized because I didn't really have a choice for a while. It was, if it's hot, it's hot. And it's hot. Plus, what kind of chairs do you have? Do you have like leather or cloth?
Leather.
And you like it?
Yeah.
Like burns you.
Well, like the seats, like my seats are like a brown. They're not like black, so it doesn't really like it's not too hot.
But still, it's uncomfortable.
Sure, but like more often than not, I'm in like a hoodie like this or like.
Why are you in a hoodie then? So. If your car's that hot, that means it's like summer. What you doing?
It's like I don't know. Like this, like this, like hoodie, like Blue's hoodie, like this one is so like light, like it's like the perfect. Like I just also run kind of cold too.
I was about to say that's the difference. I run hot. Couldn't imagine. If I were to run around a hoodie like that, I'm drenched. The only time I'm able to wear a sweatshirt is like middle of winter here. Heat not going, and even then, give it a little while, and I'm like, gotta take this off.
Like I just remember last Fruit Summit, Dado and his rental. Like after we got done with the escape room, he was like standing out there airing out the car. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm airing out the car." I was like, "What do you mean? Like a hot car is awesome." He's like, "You're a sicko." So I was curious about that.
Maybe
I love it.
I mean, there is that one thing where, like, yeah, if for some reason wherever I'm coming from I'm cold, it's a nice little break, but then I don't give it very long. But I usually don't enter. If my car's that hot, it usually means it's summer and I'm hot anyway. So it usually doesn't match up that way. Because like
speaking of, go ahead.
I was gonna say during the winter, a cold car is nice because I would come out of working out, and then I get in the cold car, and I'm like, ooh, this is kind of nice. But it doesn't work the other way around for me.
Yeah. So now speaking of hot, Mr. Fruit, was the Mario movie hot or not?
Mario's kind of hot. No, I would say it was a fun movie. Good for what it was. Didn't blow me away. I had fun. Yeah, like I would say go see it in theaters if you want. Like if it seems interesting at all to you. The plot is, like they were smart in that they played it safe in both the best ways and worst ways. But like playing it safe, but the story was so safe. And when you really break it down, it was like, what the fudge was that? You don't really get into that. And again, that's not what I was expecting.
You don't dissect that kind of movie.
Right.
You know,
because I was going in and I'm like, this is a
yeah.
kid's movie.
It's
The trailers
Mario.
are kids' movies, right? Like I know this isn't meant to
For
mentally
the
stimulate an
28-year-old who
adult.
wanted this 18 years ago. You
Right.
know, like
So instead, I enjoyed the Easter eggs and the nods here and there, and like the cool music scores they would throw in, where it starts out and you're like, oh, I recognize that, and then they play like a cool score. I'm like, hey, that's cool.
so they don't play like exactly the tracks. So they kind of play their own kind of twist on them. Like
yeah, it's very cool, but like going from 8-bit to orchestral,
orchestra.
yeah. And
What
then
word did you use? Is that a word? Or what did you say?
orchestral? Yeah,
Is that what it's called? Okay, I didn't know it was kestrel. I thought it was orchestral.
I think it's only that word that's orchestral. I could be wrong, but either way, it sounds smart, right?
Very
so, the voice acting, surprisingly, yeah, it's fine. Like Chris Pratt did a good job. It wasn't like Mario, but again, because like Claire showed me an edit somebody did of like I edited it back and did like what Toad's voice actually is and what Mario's voice actually is and dubbed it. And people are like, yo, you should do the whole movie. And I'm like, bro, that felt like a minute too long. That's what I said when like people first announced. Everyone's like, get the real Mario actor. I'm like,
no,
an hour and a half of that. That's going to be too much.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, like I get it, but like in Mario games, there's a reason why Mario's lines are.
Yippee!
Oh.
That's it. He doesn't talk for a reason because the sensory overload would be way too much. Where every time Mario speaks, he does a really probably to the Italians who are going are like, man, what the
Is
fuck
this
is
offensive or like,
like,
why the baddie?
they're just like a spicy meatball, like it to go a peach. A peach. We have to fight a Bowser. Like, bro, an hour and a half of that, man.
So I will say, like, it didn't just feel like Chris Pratt playing Mario. He did a good job, I think. He didn't like crazy change it, but like I could tell he tried, and I think it worked. So it didn't turn out to be that big of a deal. In fact, I think the worst for me, which apparently is a hot take, was Peach, who was Anya on a day. She's the Gambit, or King's Gambit. Yeah, that actor.
We're the worst.
She felt the most out of place because it was just her. She didn't put anything on it, and I don't know. I don't know, the vibe I got from like the voice and everything was a little disconnect. But aside from that, it was fine. Like Jack Black obviously killed it. The song's a banger.
I saw thumbnails and it was like woke Peach is ruining this movie.
Yeah. Which like it's not really spoilers, but she has a bigger role than she usually does in like games and stuff.
Yeah,
she's not the helpless damsel in distress. That's Luigi. Poor guy. He just always gets the short end of it. But
that's all right. We like Luigi. Well, someone's got to do it.
Lots of cool moments, nods, like cool seeing set pieces. Like I thought, like seeing some of the things, it was just really cool to see. Like beautiful. Seeing how they brought some of the world, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Again, like didn't blow my mind, but I wasn't expecting. Yeah, I was like a full theater. And we went like on Saturday or something. It came out Wednesday. So
yeah, that was like it
was super packed.
Was it a fine experience? Like a decent experience? There wasn't like
it wasn't bad. There was like
that's why I'm kind of waiting. I want the kids to see it first, and then I can go see it in like an empty theater.
Well, see, the funny thing is the people making the most noise weren't kids. It was like the mid-30s, 40s, like mom over here, where I'm like, chill, all right? And then the kids are kind of like, haha, yeah, mom. It's just like, mom, you're embarrassing me. But yeah, otherwise it wasn't that bad. At least like the movie theater going experience. And as predicted, the biggest animated opening film of all time, if I'm not mistaken. But I also added a caveat because I was like, this is going to do numbers. Apparently, it's not doing too well in China, so it's not going to have the legs IMO to like.
Okay.
Go above and beyond. I think it's doing well pretty much everywhere else, but China's the big fat. Like, if China don't pick it up, if it ain't cooking, you're not going to hit the crazy like billion, 2 billion mark, whatever.
I mean, I did just see this. The Super Mario Bros. Movie crossed 500 million at the worldwide box office.
Pardon your regularly scheduled podcast listening for this short ad break.
This episode of GG Over Easy is brought to you by BetterHelp. Becoming a content creator, I had to learn a lot about myself. You know, there was a new kind of career I had. You know, my hobby now became my job. I was kind of lost in the sauce and didn't really know like how to handle the stresses of my new career and, you know, trying to escape my job or, you know, trying to play video games and feeling bad for not streaming while I'm playing video games. You know, it was a whole thing. My therapist with BetterHelp actually taught me a lot of things about myself that I still use to this day. I think everybody should give therapy a try. And if you want conveniency, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to fit your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/GG today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/GG. So this sparks my next question. What do we see next? This obviously worked. So now there's going to be I wouldn't say a spike, but I would say another video game movie coming soon. That has to be some sort of mascot that is pretty well known and that can like kind of hold a movie. So what game can do that? And I wouldn't say it doesn't necessarily have to be like a children's movie. Do you think we get
This one wouldn't be as popular, but Star Fox win. I think that'd be fun.
Oh my god!
Okay,
but that one doesn't. That one just doesn't have the same mass appeal, though.
Make it a
cool.
PG-13 Star Fox. You know, maybe?
Well, yeah, sort of like the Star Fox Adventures, whatever, on the GameCube.
I mean, it could be like Guardians of the Galaxy for most kids. You know, like Star Fox. Like, what is this? Like, this is what they're.
Flippy.
That's not a bad. What do you think about a Kirby movie? You think we get any Kirby content?
See, I think Kirby could be up there. I feel like that's pretty recognizable. Like the
you
thing
could
is,
do any kind of voice, really, like hi, but then
Yeah.
you can like make him like really low and so. I think,
but I just don't think. I can't think of anything else that would have the immediate mass appeal as Mario. Like aside from Pokemon, I can't think of something that's so unanimously popular worldwide. I can think of some from like Nintendo where I'm like, ooh, that would be cool, like Star Fox, but not in the same way where it's like this just
like
gets
Legend
announced.
of Zelda. Like, do you think we could see?
I feel like that would be up there. Again, not quite the same, but I think Zelda would be probably one of the closest you could make an argument for, I think.
See, I think Zelda would need like a series though. Like, I think Zelda would do way better in like a series format.
HBO
F-Zero?
F-Zero
F-Zero would be kind of cool. Captain Falcon?
They haven't made another F-Zero game for a reason.
Now
He lives on in
F-Zero
Smash,
movie.
and that's
You
about
can't be
it.
hurt.
All right.
You can't hurt me like that, bro. Please.
Which I did like that game on N64, but you know, we ain't seeing more F-Zero for a reason. And ironically, I think the reason more people even remember F-Zero is because of Smash.
I did see something about, I don't know how official or like how like true it is, but something about a Wario movie.
Wow. Well, see, it wouldn't surprise me if they start doing spinoffs or like, well, someone had a funny
from
idea.
the Mario universe, like
someone on Reddit was cooking. All right, I saw a thread because it was something about like discussing the Mario movie after I'd seen it, and somebody was like
you're over there
pretending
with your
to
tea, like
he's pretending to outline as if it's like, yo, they just announced the Nintendo Phase 1. And it was like Kirby 2023, like Zelda 2023. 2024 was like, and it went through some obscure things and like some more popular ones. And then it was like 2026, Super Smash Brothers Part 1. And so
no,
they're all, it's not an extended universe in which all these would live separately, but like in Smash, they all come into the same reality. And I was like, let it go.
So almost like Dragon Ball Z Tournament of Time. Like almost like
Tournament of Power, yeah.
Sure. If you will.
So yeah, like same thing where all the movies can exist on their own, but then you'll see the characters, you get to know them, and then bam, they come in Smash Bros. You know, maybe they got to fight Master Hand or something. I don't know.
I'm like, how does that? How would that work though? Like, what is your plot for that? Like, everybody gets a Smash invitation and Master Hand, like Mortal Kombat, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, why not? I feel like you don't really have to. As soon as like Mario meets Link, everyone will be like, yeah. So it doesn't matter. You just got to get to that part.
Okay.
So that'll never happen, but I was like, that would be pretty cool.
You're starting the series. Who gets the second movie in the Smash Bros. Universe? How are you starting it off?
I think you were cooking. I think I'd probably go Zelda.
Did you go Zelda?
Oh my god. I think Zelda is probably the only other one that would, to be honest, that would rival.
The next spinoff, though, for Mario, I think should be Yoshi's Adventure.
Please.
Ooh.
You saw a little bit of them.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
that's
it's
cool.
Like, they're there for like a couple seconds.
If you don't,
they're not like these are Yoshis. Like
you just kind of see them passing, and then
that's kind of good though. I kind of want them to be fleshed out.
So now that's next. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
I'd be down for that. But it was good. Again, though, who knew that I would be saying this a month ago? I had more fun with Dungeons and Dragons. This is a good movie.
Wow.
It's a fun movie. And again, to be fair, Dungeons and Dragons was made for adults. Or like, you know, there's some childish humor or whatever, but like made for that. This is a kid's movie. So I can enjoy it for a kid's movie. But the D&D movie felt like a kid's movie for adults. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was just really fun. And then I was reading
like I'm so curious.
Well, you need to watch it because then I was reading a thread on Reddit, the D&D subreddit of like, what are all the Easter eggs you guys caught? Bro, it goes deep. Where like things that were on the screen for like half a second, they're like, they didn't say it, but they used like this blank X item, and that's why it like wasn't blank for the whole movie or something. Even though it's just like a throwaway moment in the video, but it's
like they had to have people on set that were like, okay, it looks good, right? That, like, that's.
Well, yeah, and it's just so funny because like even I was watching and like parts of it's just like it was essentially playing out a D&D campaign because like the NPCs would interact with the main characters in a way where like someone would do something ridiculous or something, no reaction. Because it's just like that, like they're the quest giver. Because at some point in the movie, without any spoilers, like they do something, and it's almost like, why didn't they ride the eagles to Mount Mordor or whatever kind of situation?
Yeah.
And and they're like, well, why don't you just like do it for us? And he goes, it is not my quest. I'm done here. And I can't. And then he just walks away. And like that's like he was the NPC. Your quest is done. He's gone.
Yeah.
So like it was just all this little stuff, and you just paid. And it was like that was again like I think I also enjoyed it so much more too because I went in like I'm like I don't know, man. How could this be good? I
remember first seeing the trailer for that. I was like, this looks ass. Like
I was just like
so
they
bad.
spent their budget on Chris Pine to get normies in, but I was wrong. Anywho, speaking of,
I did see. Oh, I saw John Wick last week.
Oh, for the first time.
You guys were right. Best John Wick by far. Like,
ooh, he's so good.
Yeah. Oh, the best. The overhead shot. You guys were like, the whole time I was like watching the movie. I was like, when is that scene coming up?
You'll know.
Like it was like they were doing the circle thing. I was like, maybe it was that, but like no. And then like it happened. I was like, this is
that's the one he's on.
And what's funny is like so when we got out of the theater, that's the first thing Sydney talked about was that scene. He was like, that was so sick.
And then again, like without any spoilers, like the stairs scene. First off, the music, they threw Justice in there. made it sick. But then it was both like epic, hilarious, great way to like towards the end of the movie. But then the same thing you're talking about, like the circle part. That was like, I enjoyed it because they, at that point, it feels like they know what John Wick is, and it's a little ridiculous, and they played into that. Where, how many times is somebody getting hit by a car, you know? And you're like,
yeah.
And he's just, he falls out of like a 5-story building, just gets up like,
yeah.
ah.
Yo, dude, the whole theater just goes,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
And then everyone laughing, he just goes, ah, and then just keeps walking. Like, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Go see it. Like, okay, so we're ranking it John Wick 1,
John Wick, D&D.
D&D.
But to be fair,
Mario.
D&D is up there, but John Wick is so vastly different. Like, you can't quite compare them. And I'm just a John Wick fanboy, but seriously, D&D's up there. And then Mario, of like current movies out. And then Shazam's already streamable. You know, I think that's...
Is it really?
Yeah, I think they started like a month or a week ago. Like, it wasn't even out a month. And they like allowed streaming or whatever. But speaking of Nintendo, today the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, a new one came out. You know, a lot of people speculating. I haven't seen it because, again, I feel like, you know, it's heretical. I know it's a hot take.
Shut your mouth.
I'm not that excited.
Shut your mouth.
And I know. I mean, I've talked about it. Everyone's like, bro, like my most favorite game is like Breath of the Wild, and I played it, and I just know I missed something.
I feel like we didn't get into the center. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like
everyone, thank you guys so much for this watching the last podcast with Fruit and Rob. It's been an honor.
I'm not saying I don't like it, but I'm just saying, like, when people are like top 5 games, like World of Warcraft, Breath of the Wild, like when they just say like Breath of the Wild and the thing, like I'm always just like, wow, like, because when I think Zelda game, I think Ocarina of Time. You know, I don't even think. With how far I got into Breath of the Wild, I don't even think Breath of the Wild sniffs.
Oh, Breath of the Wild
Ocarina
clears. Ocarina easy, not even close.
See, like, I don't have. If I'm gonna play, I'm not gonna play the first one. I tried it.
I have to.
I'll look up the story, and even though I think I know what happens anyway, and I'm just gonna go to the second one because also like some of the like for me, well, part of it was like I remember immediately I wanted to go to some snow place, and it's like, you need like a pepper, and I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta go find some pepper. So now I'm flying around, blah blah blah. Every 2 hits from a weapon, I'm having to pick up something new, and I just wasn't feeling it, and so I just put it down. I'm sure it's a great game, but again, I don't know. It's one of the rare games that people are like, bro, try this, and I did. And I was like, I don't know, it just wasn't. It wasn't for me. So I'm hoping with the new one. Quality of life changes, and then I don't know. We'll see if I stick with it. I'm happy for other people though. You know,
I'm excited. I didn't realize it was coming out, so I thought this was coming out like in the fall. I didn't realize it was coming so early.
It's like middle May, right? Or
like a month like basically like a month from today, basically.
Which,
but yeah. I'm excited for it. I'm going to do a replay of it probably like 2 weeks before it comes out because I think that's probably how long it'll probably take me to beat and kind of get my teeth into it.
We'll see. I also have the other problem. The Star Wars Jedi game comes out at the end of the month. I still haven't played the first one. So if I want to play that one, I somehow get through all that. And then...
The game's not that long, though. Like, if you're really not trying to, like... look for where they don't want you and stuff like that.
Yeah, but see, I have a really hard time doing that. Even if I know, like, I have to, I'm gonna still have a really hard time.
That game was awesome.
I want to get there, but I might just not get it in time.
I've heard like the second one is like really, really awesome.
I want
from our Nintendo ambassador Blessius. He got to a hands-on preview of it. Yeah,
in the words of our Nintendo ambassador. Jeez. But so like I have to catch up on that. Where was I have a sponsored Horizon Zero Dawn thing coming up.
Ooh, is that the VR thing?
No, it's DLC for the main game. If they'd said VR, I'd been like, yo, I wish. But you know,
I thought it was gonna be the VR thing. Because it seems like they're really pushing that.
with the DLC though, I never ended up finishing it because that came out with like Witch Queen and Elden Ring and everything other like, which is also I missed on Elden Ring. So like I'm like 15 hours into Horizon Zero Dawn, and I'm still in like the first area because that's my problem.
That's like the San
100%
Francisco
everything.
one, right?
Yeah, and I haven't even gotten there yet though. And in order to do this new DLC, I have to like beat the campaign or something. So I have like less than a week to do that.
And they were like, they don't give you like a save. They're like, is that chill? Like,
well, they were literally like, you have to be this far, and I'm like, I'm not, but I guess I can get there. I'll try. So
That's
like
funny.
lots of cool stuff coming out here soon, but yeah, some of it was just like, dang, I haven't been able to get to it yet. Because like that's the other thing too is I was worried Silk Song's gonna come out soon. Again, I don't think I have to worry about that because I'm like I need to beat Hollow Knight. But again, Silk Song, I don't know. Speaking of which,
Hollow Knight was sick. Really liked it.
Suicide Squad delayed half a year to February. Except the interesting thing though is apparently it's only for polish. I don't think they're like redesigning anything because a lot of people thought it might be because of the backlash to the like live service loot kind of thing, but I don't think it's. I think they
let me reword that. A lot of people were hoping it was because they were changing that shit.
Well, they'd be like, why wouldn't you? And then a lot of people are like, wait, it's just for polish. Like, what was the game going to look like then? You know, when it came out. So who knows? Is it a good decision? Is it bad? We'll find out.
When they said like, oh, it's going to be like a looting shooters type of thing, that's was like, done. Like, no thanks. Like,
all right, I'm a head out. Whereas for me, I'm like, I'll see. The only problem is like we talked about in the podcast when you weren't here with Dado, but like about gaming fatigue with like live service games and battle passes. There's too many to keep up with. So unless I'm like dedicating all my time to that game, it'll just fall to the wayside because then it's like it's not just like I'm just gonna pick this up for a little bit. Now it's like, well, I gotta do that, and if I'm not keeping up with this, or if I'm not grinding this, then it just gets to be too much.
Yeah.
Speaking of things getting to be too much, the cheating in Destiny 2. Apparently, Bungie's had enough.
This is what I was kind of curious about. So, it's so funny. So, like, I think the Destiny PvP community is one of the funniest communities I've ever seen on Twitch.
No one knows how to huff copium harder
like
than the D2 PvP.
Like,
true.
I think it was like Frostbolt or something, or like Pure. I think it might have been Pure. Was just like, man, like, let's go.
This is gonna change everything.
PvP community dub, like, let's go. And I'm like, so
and that's when you show a picture, and then the win, there's 1, and then the L, it's like goes off the page. Just
like I was like, and you guys are getting new maps too. Like, what did I miss here?
No, but so they're cracking down on Zem users, which for those
Zem,
XIM, it's like an acronym or whatever.
Okay.
But for those that aren't familiar, it's essentially modding it so that you put in some device or whatever it is, or some interface thing. You connect a keyboard to it, and it gives you, and you can also do it with a controller. But for instance, like you do it with a keyboard, and now you have controller aim assist with keyboard and mouse. Or you can use it in a way like controllers. You can set it, and then literally there's no recoil. Like everything's a laser beam. Essentially, it breaks everything. Is what it does.
What?
It's yeah. So that's the problem. Is like, you know, some people go on console or PC. Well, see, I mean, it's always been this weird gray area where it's not really, but no one cracks down on it. And recently, I think it was Call of Duty a week or two ago came out with like a new anti-cheat talking about it. So maybe Bungie felt pressured, and everyone's like, "Bro, they're doing it." Maybe Bungie been working on it. I have no idea. But they're finally putting a thing. But like, I remember Dr. Lupo complaining about this like 6 years ago. It took a while.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it was around like Vanilla D2 because whatever the DLC where we got bows, Warmind or whatever the fudge that was.
Okay.
That was like the last thing I think I went to, or D2
Yeah.
even had. But yeah, we were in Bellevue, Washington, Seattle, or whatever the fudge I just said. You know, wherever Bungie is. And yeah, we were at a dinner, and I remember Dr. Lupo like complained about all that stuff. And here we are. And something's finally being done about it, but a lot of people are upset about it. For me, it feels like I just don't even bother. If I die, I assume, whatever, he's better than me. He's had better aim. Because it reminds me like Halo Infinite, where it was just too exhausting. I would die, and I have to sit there and be like, are they just on controller? Like, did I just lose that gunfight because he's on controller, and they're going to win that fight like 9 times out of 10? So I get to the point where I just like, I don't even bother with it, because otherwise I'm going to, every death, I'm going to be like, was it this? And I'm going to hate everything. Yeah. And speaking of that too, I also saw where like they've been like still like nerfing mouse and keyboard. I think it was like Game State or Gigs or something, where it's like Halo Infinite, there is not a single pro that's playing that uses keyboard and mouse, all controller users. And then like the win rate, you know, from like keyboard to controller has only gotten like worse since launch. And they still have done nothing. I think they've even nerfed keyboard and mouse a little bit or something. Where it's just like, bro, what are you so afraid of? Like,
I should have never switched. Like, I felt like when I was making the switch to keyboard or like to PC, it was like, all right, I have to switch. Like, you know, it was never like,
well, the difference is you wouldn't be like, you wouldn't be playing CS:GO.
No.
Like the reason we did it was Overwatch, which is fair because like in Overwatch, you're at a clear disadvantage on controller. Same with CS:GO. It would be the same with like Valorant and some of those games. But with other certain games, especially like Halo, whenever time to kill is at that certain balance. Like Overwatch is different because there's so much to it. There's so much movement and so much nuance. But like in a shooter, let's say CS:GO, if CS:GO is one spectrum and Halo Infinite's the other, the closer you get to Halo, time to kill, the more and more controller is going to take over as the best input. Because then it's a matter of who can stay on target the longest, and the more bullet magnetism and everything, the more likely that the controller with aim assist and stuff is going to have.
5-head explanation here.
Thank you. Yeah, but that's essentially it.
And CS:GO, I'm a tap you, like one tap and you.
So it like keyboard mouse still grants you precision that you can't quite get on controller. But when you have like Halo and the BR and a little bit of spread and a burst and bullet magnetism, to where I'm on keyboard mouse, and if we're at medium range distance, I shoot you in the head, maybe I'll get 3 out of 4. But you shoot me with a controller in the same exact way, you're always going to hit 4 out of 4 if we're both just shooting head, because the bullet magnetism is always going to help you like that. And so in like firefights and crouching, like it all just plays to a part to where it's just...
I just remember never getting like a perfect when I was playing Halo, like maybe one every like 3 games. Well, and then just like I look at somebody who plays controller, and every other 5 seconds they're getting perfect, and it's like me just going like, I don't think it's that I'm that bad, actually. I just think that I'm such at a disadvantage not playing controller. It's like, why waste my time?
Well, you go to the end of a lobby, and you would just know. I'd be like, man, I fragged out. Accuracy, like 41%. Then there's some dude with like 60. Like, all right, well, he's controller.
Like,
that's that. And you could even, that was another way to tell too. You'd go into like their medals. How many perfects did they get? Because usually it was like, man, they got way too many perfects for, unless they are the 1% of the 1% keyboard and mouse players. And so, yeah, like I agree. When I'm playing a game, it's just like that. Like if I'm playing Destiny, and I love Destiny, that's all I played, it would upset me because, especially if I'm at a certain skill bracket where I'm more likely to maybe hit these people, it would frustrate me every time. I'm going, was he just using, you know, some peripheral or something that essentially gives him an advantage that I don't have otherwise? It's frustrating.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even if, you know, D2 PvP are my goal, I'm glad they're cracking down on it. Because, like, you know.
So, W.
Yeah, I think it's a W. I've always said it. I don't care if you cheat in a game as long as it doesn't affect somebody else. That's why, like, single player cheats and whatever. Like, I don't care. Like, if that's
Skyrim, like if you're selling iron daggers to get your like armory smith,
or like,
you know, and just like,
or like Elden Ring, people want a different thing. Whatever. Like, if somebody wants to mod it, make it easier, or just like,
okay,
that's
so
just
let me
how
ask you
they
this:
enjoy
New
it.
World. New World where they've the gold economy and stuff like that.
Oh well, yeah, that's a problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what made me quit, because the whole game is driven on a player economy, and that all goes out the window as soon as people can essentially artificially
dupe and
then bots, and then it's like it fundamentally ruins the entire, like that is ruining it for other people. And so it essentially comes down to, if it's a PvP game, nah, because 9 times out of 10, if you're doing something you shouldn't be, it's at the expense of somebody else. And this is a case where other people are suffering. So I'm glad they got something.
GZ to the Destiny 2 PvPers out there. Happy for you guys.
But you know what? Community is not so happy they're actually getting something. They think it's an L.
Yeah.
Harry Potter fans.
Oh.
It was announced.
Okay. Man, it is an L.
Can
I ask why it's an L? Can I ask why?
Okay, so just for reference, HBO Max announced they're making I think a 10-year Harry Potter live action TV series. And a lot of people are upset. And the reason, Rob, is because, well, first off, why?
J.K. Rowling is a bitch. I get that. I hate her.
Well, that's not. But that's not the reason.
Part of it. Okay, so I know she's part of it, so I get that part of not liking
the last movie.
That sort of it.
I don't even think it's been 10 years since it came out, or I think it just hit 10 years.
What is it? Deathly Hallows Part 2?
I think so. Yeah.
Let's see. 2011. So it's been about 12.
Okay, so
12 years.
But still, we're like, it's one of those. Do we need this? It would be like if in, I don't know, 5-6 years, we get an Iron Man reboot again, like a whole MCU reboot, where it's like, do we really? We just.
See, but like, I think that's like, see, I would say that if these were movies, okay, I would say that if these were movies, I'm a little bit more open to it because it's a series. Now,
I agree. It gives them more time to possibly explore things the movies.
And I think it'll be kind of cool to, like, you know, honestly have, like, you know, kids who start off the show and that are like, just how they did it with, you know, Daniel Radcliffe and stuff like that. Granted, they got actors who looked super young when they were much older, but, you know, you could genuinely have kids that are like 6 in the first like season, and then come like the second season they're like 8, and then in the third one they're 13. You know, like, I think when Daniel Radcliffe did the first one, they might have been like 9 or 10, and I think that's like, you know, I'm open to the idea. I like that it's a series. You know, I'm way more open to a series reboot than a movie reboot. If it was a movie reboot, I would be asking, why need this? You know, why do any of this? That's why with Lord of the Rings, like, a lot of people were like, do we have this? I was open to it because it was a
to be fair to that, it's not redoing what it's a prequel.
True.
It's not. It would be like if, you know, somebody comes out, hey, we're recreating the Lord of the Ring films, and then it'd be
for
like,
all we know, like, have you read the books, the Harry Potter books?
No, but Claire has a million times over.
Would you should ask her sometime if, like, the movies are really good interpretations of the book.
I mean, she's told me there's like some things she wish they'd included, or like they skipped over, or they sort of changed.
Yeah, so I think those fans are gonna get that with this series now. So, like, I think those fans should be like really stoked, especially like the latter books. Dude, you're telling me, like, in part 1 and part 2, they fit that huge ass book in an hour and a half, 2 hour 2-hour movies? Maybe, but
I think the fandom is worried about, well, first off, again, like, we have a good thing. It exists. It's there. And the potential to ruin or hurt a
legacy.
Yeah. Is pretty easy to do, because, I mean, like, it's not like people look back and like, man, the Harry Potter movies suck. Like, people look back and they're like, we love the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, they're classics.
And so I think it's part of that. I do think the advantage it has going for them is, like you said, like, it's a TV series, longer form. They'll have more time to possibly flesh out things or include things that weren't there before.
And And I'm gonna also like this is something I was gonna state earlier that I'm gonna start a new show because I've heard this show is just prime HBO, and I think we might be entering a new HBO like Renaissance era. I've heard this show Succession is like unbelievable, and like I saw that like some episode
It's
just
like the
got one
second
of the,
only
like
ever perfect rating.
yeah
show.
behind Breaking Bad's like Amadeus or whatever that was. So like. I really think we're kind of entering that like Sopranos era of like HBO, where like HBO is actually putting out some like good shit. And I think they can like apply that to a Harry Potter series. Now, they can't obviously make it like super rated R or anything like that, but like I feel like HBO could kill this. So like I'm actually way more open to it than I think most people are.
Well, let's hear. It seems like you have more of an opinion, Blue. Because like I'm mainly just speaking from what I'm hearing. I don't have like I only recently watched all the Harry Potter movies, so I'm not absorbed into it. So I'm curious what you're feeling and what if you've heard from like other people who are Harry Potter fans, what they're thinking.
Well, so my main thing that I've seen from a lot of Harry Potter fans is that they feel like because the cast has been so outspoken in separating themselves from J.K. Rowling, that is why she's allowing this push for a new reboot of a series because she wants a new cast that is
so some like evil like, supervillain shit.
Not like that. I mean, yeah, probably like that. But like it's more so like, man, remember those classic movies? The whole cast fucking hates me. I should fix that. So a lot of Harry Potter fans are
okay.
So a lot of Harry Potter fans are worried about that, and a lot of them are also worried because while the books are, while there's definitely some things, there's definitely some qualms people had with the movies. They're not sure a 10-year long form content.
That seems insane.
Of Harry Potter, like, is there 10 years worth of book you can materialize into a film format?
I guess it
even
depends.
A TV like long form format, you know what I mean?
Who knows? Maybe each season's like 3 episodes. I don't know, but
I mean, I'm thinking about it like you literally watch those kids like grow up, essentially. Like they really are like 6 or 7 or whatever. I don't really know.
What 6 or 7-year-old do you know is going to Hogwarts, Rob?
Well, isn't that the normal age that Harry Potter was in the original book? I thought.
Look this up.
Original age
Hogwarts
of Harry
age entry
book.
Hogwarts School of Witchcraft is a fictional boarding school of magic for students aged 11 to 18. So
okay.
So when Rob was
Rob was
like, I don't know, I think Dr. Radcliffe was like 9 or 10 or something. He was way too old.
But yeah, now now that might not. I don't know.
Rob, what 6 or 7-year-old is going to wizard school, my man?
But yeah, it's fictional.
My nephew uses the Elder One and says "swish and flick" like 20 million times when we watch him. So
Patronus,
might be getting his in the mail.
If they do it good, cool. I don't think there's 10 years worth of Harry Potter content to do a TV series on.
I just haven't read the book, so I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I just know the surface level of what Harry Potter is. Like, I don't know.
I mean, part of it is it's also written at a lower grade level. It's not dense. It's not the same way that like Game of Thrones,
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so there's not as much there in the same way. Yeah, that like you could maybe. So maybe that's a worry. Is okay. So then they're gonna have to expand on it, and how sure are we that what they're going to expand on it is going to actually work? Sort of like how we've seen with like Game of Thrones and stuff, where it's like, well, now they gotta add their own stuff, and are they cooking or are they aren't? There's only one way to find out. And a lot of it too is also like, again, like why are we trying to reboot what is currently like a legacy? And I remember it was funny, like HBO Max tweeted like the announcement, and it had like the Harry Potter music, like da 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 da, and then like the title pops up, and like the first comment's like, "Huh, that's weird. Where'd you get that music?" Where it's like, well, we already have that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't have strong feelings one way or the other, but again, that's also because like I'm not a Harry Potter nut. I didn't see any of the movies growing up. I didn't read the books only recently, and I like
Have
the
you been
movies.
to Harry Potter
but,
World?
I couldn't tell you the last time I was
What?
at
Really?
any amusement park. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Um,
Harry Potter World's awesome.
I want to take Claire someday just so that she can go. But so yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's like we're scared it more likely you're just going to do damage to the franchise rather than actually do it justice.
I get the visceral reaction, but I think when like things start coming out a little bit more, I think people may become a little bit more open to the idea. And I think it all, of course, like with any other TV show or any kind of form of entertainment, if it sucks, like, it's only going to be magnified times a million. But if it's like good, like I don't think anybody's going to have an issue with it once it like comes out, and if it's actually decent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. But I do know a lot of people, like it appears most of the Harry Potter fandom, at least
For sure.
online, aren't too stoked about it. So, I mean, I'm not sure when, because like, I think they're literally just announcing that they like have signed the deal or whatever. Like, this is happening. So who knows when like season 1's actually going to drop? It could be a year, 2, 3. Who really knows? But either way, interesting nonetheless. So we'll see. But clearly HBO thinks it'll be worth it. Because if it does do well, I mean, sheesh.
Yeah,
we've seen what
you
know.
See, I understand like Blue's the theory that like the people like Blue has is J.K. Rowling wants to separate herself from like the old guard because they hate her essentially. That totally does make sense though. So I totally could see the, like, oh, we want to do Harry Potter, but like essentially there is like an evil maniacal witch behind the idea that I see. So I get that.
And there is. She's back there. Anything else you guys specifically want? Oh, Rob, you mentioned some CS2 beta drama.
Yeah. Have you guys know the CS2 beta is already dead. Nobody is playing it right now.
Wait, like they ended it, or no one's just playing it?
Nope, just nobody's playing it because everybody's sick of playing Dust 2, and they haven't like. Yeah, that's the only map you can play at the moment. And right now, no one is playing it. So it's like you're basically just playing bots and deathmatch. And then if you do want to play a matchmaking game, you're waiting in queues for at least 10 to 20 minutes. So like I said from the beginning, like CS2 is going to be amazing. If the fucking experience sucks ass, no one's going to give a shit. So the beta has already kind of fumbled. Now, there is a tinfoil hat theory, Christian, that I think you will enjoy because you always seem to kind of enjoy these. Lightfall wasn't. This is kind of a Lightfall wasn't supposed to be real type of thing. This beta that came out publicly was never supposed to happen. The real beta was supposed to come out when the game came out in summer, and this was supposed to just be like a preview for like content creators and pros, that sort of thing. But, it would be so hard to keep that from leaking out. And for people that do have that information could make thousands of dollars in this game. Like when I tell you guys the thousands of dollars from this skin community right now, dude, a whack ass pair of gloves that I could have bought for like $400 a year ago are selling for like $1,800 now. So the theory is like this beta right now is just supposed to be like a creator showcase, a pro showcase, and was just supposed to be a very isolated incident. But they knew that it would leak out and that there's a lot to be money. Like, it's not just a normal video game leak, for CS2.
Yeah.
So they had to release it like this and make it public and make it very, because like I think it's like only 2% of the player base that actually has access to the game still. So like nobody has access to it. Nobody's able to play anything. Everybody wants to play it. Nobody just wants to play Dust 2 anymore though. So people are thinking like the beta was originally supposed to come out like in like June or like May, and this was supposed to just be a very like crumb of the cake, but now they had to make this crumb of the cake look like it was the cake. So do you buy that in the sense?
I buy it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Well, especially if like all it has is Dust 2, is a small little build, like, hey, we got this for you guys. You get like a week with it in private. Probably not even that much, you know, like do that, make some free content, hype it up for us. Thanks. And so yeah, part of that. I can also understand maybe they didn't, but like also, you know, maybe their intentions weren't to have people play it that much. I don't know. Or
yeah, but also like
it's just weird.
Valve is notorious for not giving two flying fucks about anything. You know what I mean? Like they don't care. Like I think I showed you guys a stat last week or something that in March alone, after the announcement of CS2, they made 90 million in cases and key transactions alone.
Jesus Christ.
$90 million alone. That's why, like, when I was thinking about, like, why don't they care about, like, when there's a $20,000, like, transaction for a skin and they don't get any piece of that? It's because 20,000 is a drop in the bucket. Like, it's just crazy, the amount of money. Like, cases are going crazy right now. The CS market is just on fuego my ego. This is not a joke. If you had listened to me when I said this is not financial advice, when I was first talking about CS2 and that I was buying, my inventory since buying then has quadrupled in price since all that kind of stuff. It's wild. Like when I said I believed in Daddy Gabe and all the skins I wanted, I believed, and it is paying off so tremendously right now. I love CS2.
We love it. Haven't played it.
Like I'm gonna sound like oh my god, congratulations. Okay, so I bought a skin about a year and a half ago. I sold 2 skins for about $3,500, and then I paid, I think, about $900 in cash to buy a field-tested 1.8 Gungnir. Okay? Today, I feel like I'm watching Bitcoin. Today, it just passed 10K.
Eesh.
Yeah, just past 10K.
And you're still holding on to it?
Oh, God. Okay.
My bad.
One of my favorite shows in the world is
like that.
I'll tell you this. If it like gets to the point where like it could pay for every part of the wedding, I may end up selling it. And I'm not kidding you. Sydney and I plan on our wedding having like a table of remembrance, you know, for like our grandparents, like as a picture of them.
And our Gungnir.
I swear to God, if I sell my Gungnir, I will have a framed picture of my fucking Gungnir on that damn table. I swear to God. But
not forget the fallen soldiers.
Yeah, it's just so crazy, the market right now. But like, okay, like I said, Antique Roadshows, one of my favorite shows to watch. Okay, I love it. I literally tell her, like, babe, when I'm an 80-year-old man and if I still have some of these CS skins, I was like, I swear to God, they're gonna talk about my CS skins like this. I sound crazy for saying it, but I swear to God, it'll be like CS5 or whatever it is when we're 80. And it'll be like the biggest, and they'll be like, yeah, my grandpa just passed away. He was like a streamer in his 20s. We got access to his Steam account, and this is like what was in it. Like, okay, well, he does have some TF2 hats here of a war dog. Must have been the mug meme going on around then. But if you look here in this Counter-Strike directory here, do you know what this is? And they're like, nope, don't know what that is. We almost just sold it on a site for $500. Like, they're like, oh, this is like a gun. This is actually worth like $80,000 now. And it's like, oh my God, like grandpa, he'd be so happy. I'll be up there. I'll be up there like, fuck you.
Don't sell it. Yeah, not my Gungnir or anything.
Yeah. So I swear to you, man, like I sound crazy. He's like, you sound crazy. There will be an Antique Roadshow when we are like in our 60s and our 70s. That'll be showing our like internet like skins. And CS will be one of those. Another Rob prediction. You know, everyone laughed at me when I said COVID was happening to stop the Japan Olympics in that Dream Team video. I specifically said it was going to be a virus named COVID that was going to stop it, not just because I don't know why I said that. We will have antique Steam shops in 2070.
Antique pixel inventories.
Book it.
All right.
But yeah, so just right now the market is hot. Last week I said it was kind of plateauing, but it's picking back up again.
To the moon.
Like a night. It's who knows, dude. It is just a wild ass time to be playing CS. Our friend Dado is making it part of his pack opening in December, which is going to be pretty cool. Really excited for CS too. Just hope you guys get some AK skins and dive in a little bit here soon.
That's the last thing I need to do is start investing in CS skins.
For you, I'll consider it.
Well, I also have like a private server now for CS:GO games. If you guys are ever interested in playing with like level players that are just also learning the game, you guys are more than welcome to fly.
I'm a fragger.
It's a ton of fun.
I'd be disrespected.
You could be level 3. You could get in our level 3 games.
I have no idea. Again, problem too. I just don't have the patience. I just don't.
Yeah.
The gameplay is too slow for me. I get it.
But
I get antsy.
But you can adopt that Brazilian play style, dude. The Brazilians just don't play like that. They don't wait on a corner and hold an angle for 40 minutes. They rush, they push smokes. You know, you could play that way.
Yeah, but then my mechanics.
You gotta pick and choose those moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then my mechanics have to be otherworldly, which spoilers, they're not. So.
Yeah, neither are mine. I'm going to be honest. Whenever I play in the All Nation Inners, I'm more than likely at the bottom.
You're doing that to help them feel. You just want them to keep playing.
But I have fun. But
That's what matters.
And you know what's cool about it? In the All Nation Inners, cases drop at the end of them, so you have a chance of actually getting a case, which is actually really sick. Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, it's just like a private server. Like you're actually playing the game. Like the game sees you're playing like a full game, and you're not just like boosting for cases or something like that. So it'll give you like a drop or two.
How would it know if you're boosting?
The length of the game and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, I get it.
Like there's a certain kind of threshold. I mean, you still only have like a 6 or 8% chance after a game to getting a case, but depending on what case.
But it's still something.
But CS is hot. Play CS:GO. If you want to play CS:GO, join my Discord and sign up.
CS:GO, it's just Counter-Strike Global Offensive is 11 years old.
Yeah.
And it had its peak 19 days ago. So, just wild.
I love it. I love you, CS:GO. You've never forsaken me. You never have. I swear to God, it never has. The only thing it's forsaken me is I suck balls. I suck real bad at it. I'm really bad. And which sucks is because I really want to be good at it. I would do anything to transfer what I had in Halo to CS, but it's just I'm not 16.
I don't got that dog in me anymore.
No, I just stink.
I wonder.
I got that Nintendo ass hairline. Look at this thing.
I wonder if I could actually just play one game again like you used to Halo, where I could go, but I'll never know because I just can't commit. My ADHD won't let me. I get bored. It's a curse.
Anything we wanted to touch on before we I went to some Q&A here? Haven't touched on Q&A in a while.
I don't think so. I did pinch my lower back, so I'm in terrible pain right now. But aside from that,
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Loose ass says favorite plant.
Ooh,
I never really thought about that. I mean, weed, I guess.
Nice.
Or Russian thistle.
You're not
That's
wrong.
too easy. That's too easy.
Now hold up.
Russian thistle, probably.
Don't get me started. Now hold up. I'm finna act up. I think for a while when I was younger, it was violets, whatever the fudge, just because they were purple.
Okay. Are they called violets?
I thought they were. I don't know. Tulips? What the fudge am I thinking of? I don't know, the purple ones. I don't even remember what they're called. I don't know. Otherwise, I don't know.
Okay, they are called violets. Okay, maybe I'm crazy. God. Yeah, I was like,
I mean, sorry, I bought it though. You're like, no, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
I'm not a botanist, I'm gaslighting you.
Okay, well, actually, bonsai. I like. What is that? That's a tree. I don't know if that's considered a plant. Those are cool. But otherwise, I know cactuses. Sure, there.
Like I don't know what like defines a plant to like is a tree the same thing as a plant? Like they have roots, yeah, you know.
And so do I, because I got family.
Blue,
We're all
favorite
plants
plant.
if you think about it.
Yeah.
Honestly, weed. It's weed.
Okay, it's a good one.
I'm trying to think, and it's like nothing beats weed, man.
Addie, with a question. What animal do you want to be reborn as in the next life? They say they choose a
my
house
God.
cat.
Can you imagine being a house dog or a house cat? You got it free. Being born to or adopted to just a loving family, man.
Yeah, I thought about it like, you know, Willow had to go through the streets. You know, she had to live that trauma. You know, like the second Albus was born, like he has had nothing but attention. You know what I mean? Like nothing, like has
He's
known nothing.
just a baby.
Yeah,
Just a
like
baby.
from the second he was born. Like so, because today is actually officially a year since we got him. A year ago, we were driving to Nebraska to get him. So I was just thinking, like, dude, you got the life. Like, I would do anything to be like him.
I'd say,
So,
like, being a cute animal, a human sees you, you're set. You're done. Like, I take better care of Boomy than I take care of myself.
I mean,
right?
the food part would suck ass though. Like, I do have to put that in consideration. Like the
but
food,
to you, as a cat, you're like, yes.
Is it though? Like, do they
Does
not know
Albus
any better?
Does Albus shred that
Oh
bitch?
yeah, like
Exactly.
the wet food.
Exactly.
Oh, you bust out wet food, he's going crazy.
Yep, exactly. So to you, you're probably like a hamburger, full course.
So like in my mind, I could be like, okay, this is a Whopper, you know, cheeseburger, Whopper, hamburger. Like
in your mind, steak every day. Steak. You're like,
Okay.
yes. What's for breakfast? Steak. Fuck yeah.
Sure. Then I'd choose house cat. What about you, Mr. Fruit?
I don't know.
You're not dog or cat like me and Blue?
I feel like dog would be the like the usual answer, but I have to be different now. So probably like an orca whale.
So just killing seals and shit. You just
Ain't nobody above me. Ain't nobody gonna mess with me. I can bully people. I can do whatever I want.
I mean, humans hunt your ass. Like
they not really.
I mean,
nobody
but
really
like,
even messes with
okay,
orcas.
so but like, I mean, they catch you and then they train you. I think that's like worse than trying to kill you.
Under the assumption I don't go to SeaWorld. We're pogging, I guess. Yeah. Aside from that, though, you know, we're vibing.
Okay.
Bring me up somewhere way out in the Arctic, you know, northern waters, bro. Like, no one's going out there. I'll do whatever.
Isn't that more like blue whales? This is just shows my my.
Well, no, because orcas are hunting the seals. Pretty sure orcas go all the way up there.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Because, well, seals don't necessarily have to be in cold water. Like there's San Francisco.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking of all the National Geographic footage, and it's usually icebergs or something. So I don't know.
It's true. I have seen like videos of like orcas just going on like have you seen them going on the shoreline and just grabbing a seal and just like waddling their way back like into that is terrifying.
How far do orcas migrate? Okay, well, that's just they found that all 4 types feed in frigid Antarctic waters. Well, there are ones that feed in frigid, and they will migrate as far as 7,000 miles round trip.
That pisses me off even more. Like, why we haven't, like, wouldn't it make more sense to have an orca? Like, okay, like, it doesn't make sense having an orca at a zoo anywhere. But if we were to have them, wouldn't you want it in, like, Wisconsin? Not, like, San Diego SeaWorld? Like, don't we need, like, a Wisconsin SeaWorld at that point? For, like, the orcas specifically? Because it's kind of more cold up there?
That's a great point. Never mind the fact that they're depressed. Dude. And we literally know that they feel like emotions and are depressed. But, you know, aside from that.
Let's put them in Wisconsin.
Their dorsal fins don't, like, they're really bent and they're sad. But yeah, no, yeah.
Well, did you guys ever watch that documentary called, like, I think it was like
Blackfish or something, right?
Blackfish or something? Yeah. I never watched it, but I heard it makes you really, like, sad about dolphins and orcas and stuff.
Maybe I just go pretty dumb on the intelligence scale too, because I'm an
You don't
orca or a
wanna,
dolphin.
like-
I'm pretty smart, which means
I understand complex emotions.
yeah. But hey, man, I don't know. I'm an ant. All my brothers are going over there.
I mean,
know what-
ants. I mean, hey, if Ant-Man taught us anything, ants are pretty complex creatures.
Oh wait, where did I see this? I'm trying to remember. There was this crazy footage. There is this like, I think it's like some sort of caterpillar or something,
Mm-hmm.
but it like secretes certain goop and whatnot to make it smell like a queen bee, and then it'll make a noise that sounds like a queen bee in distress. So they'll do it right next to like an ant colony. And then one ant's like, hey, yo, bro. Oh, wait, queen. Hey, yo, girl, what you doing? What's wrong, girl? And then they're like, hey, yo, bro. It's like, let's help our queen. And there's, because it's like, I don't know, it smells like it, sounds like it. We got to help our queen. But they bring it into the colony, into the hive, because that's the queen. That's where it needs to be. And then the caterpillar just sits there and noms on all the larvae. Just like all the eggs and whatever, like all the
just all the babies.
Noms for months and months, and then it's gigantic. It's gross, and then it pupas or whatever, pupates, whatever, and then becomes this like blue butterfly looking thing, blue moth or whatever the fudge, but essentially just commits like ant genocide, kills it. It's like, yo, thanks, boom, and then that's it. That's crazy.
That's a circle of life.
Which is like, there's all these sort of animals like that.
Where'd you see that?
And bugs. That's what I'm trying to remember. I don't know.
Like Reddit, probably. Like that's probably,
it was probably like some Reddit, and I was like, this thing's 10 minutes long.
Like,
There's no way I'm.
Interesting thread.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a 10-minute video. There's no way, and I'm sitting there like, don't end. Wait, what happened? What happens next? What happened to the ant colony?
So either an orca or a caterpillar that could starts.
No, see, genocide. I want to be that ant, bro. I didn't know better, man. Life's simple.
Oh, you just brought in the caterpillar.
I work for the queen, bro. She tells me what to do. The hive or whatever, better for the, and then, we're freaking, whoop, we're out. Oh, wait. Oh, that actually make that, yeah, duh. That's what I'm getting wrong. That's what I'm getting wrong. It's bees. It's not ants. That's what, because I was thinking, it like vibrates and stuff. And that's why it's eating like the bee eggs, whatever and stuff. That's, I think, what I was getting mixed up. Either way, it's one of those things. It's crazy, dude. Whatchamacallit, sneak level 100. They fully invested. So, that and charisma. Kudos to them.
Crystal says, kind of a long question. I apologize. When it comes to therapy, what has worked best for you guys? I know you guys are sponsored by BetterHelp. But for you personally, what have you found is the best method for you? Online, in person, phone call, etc. I interest in all things. My doctor has suggested and referred me to someone, but in all honesty, I'm terrified. Any advice?
I don't know. You go first, Rom.
I think that, like, therapy only works like if you want it to work. Like, you have to be like honest. Like, I mean, you just have to be kind of like uncomfortably honest, I think. And whether that's either online or on the phone, like whatever makes you the most comfortable. But like, you also have to understand, like, in order to like make progress in therapy, like being uncomfortable is like part of the process. So like even getting over being terrified of going to therapy is a part of therapy. Like, you can like talk through that, like with your therapist and all that kind of stuff. And, honestly, like just having like bi-weekly sessions for me online, with BetterHelp, honestly, was like what I did. And it worked for me. I also have done in person before, and that also worked out for me. But I just feel like they both worked out because I was completely honest and like uncomfortably honest. So I feel like whichever gets you to do that, do it.
For me, in person works best for me. I will do like online, like video calls. I think part of it was also when I started therapy, there wasn't really like online phone calls and stuff. Like you see a therapist, you go in. So I just got used to it, and I think I just prefer it just because it feels more intimate, and I feel like you get more out of it. And frankly, body language says a lot. So like, even if I'm trying, like, I'm uncomfortable, and my body's reaction is like, I'm gonna lie. It's gonna be pretty obvious, frankly. But the method I found is I need actionable therapists, which there's like different therapists and the way they like treat and like, deal with them. But what I need is somebody who will give me actionable things to work on, like something to go away with, almost like homework. Like, okay, well, here's something you can actually do to practice or whatever it is. And that helps me just because, like, then when I'm like a visual person, I just need, once I can see it and then I can do it and then I understand it. That'd be me.
Mr. Westlo?
I'm pretty much the same as Fruit. I don't need to be in person, but I do want to at least, if not video call, then at least be on a voice call or something. Or I found like text, like, typing through therapy isn't really the greatest for me because when I type, I'm very edited. But when I talk, I just kind of
no filter almost.
I let loose. I can't stop. So yeah, actionable therapy is big for me because it's like one of the best parts where I learned the most isn't necessarily through when we're talking about stuff. It's when they give me homework and they're like, okay, like, here's like an exercise I want you to do this week, and tell me how you felt about it. I can't even remember like it's some of the homework that I got home, but it's like, yeah, like let's work on these things. Here's a couple of things I want you to do this week that are like, usually the homework is like very small steps type thing where it's like, hey, let's change how you do this, let's change how you do that. When you have this thought, like when you spiral, remind yourself you're spiraling, and be like, hey, is this me spiraling or am I just spiraling because I'm spiraling? And it's like acknowledging that. I think that was one of the biggest things for me with actual treatment is acknowledging things that are from depression and not being afraid to be like, yo, like, this is your depression. Yeah, you have depression. All these thoughts that are happening right now, it's because you're depressed. And that sounds terrible, but that's one of the things that has really helped a lot. So just small things that, and I mean, everyone's different, right? Like if someone's like, yeah, you're going through this shit because you're depressed. For some people, that's like, oh, fuck, this just makes it worse. But for me, it was like, these thoughts are because I'm depressed. Well, I'm spiraling because I'm depressed. Oh, I'm spiraling because I am sad. I should probably stop doing that. Don't know why I'm doing that. I'm letting the depression do it for me. So, stuff like that. And then even like, there's a lot of times where I don't even work on myself. There's a lot of times like I just go into therapy to talk about shit that doesn't matter. I'll go to shit like how did something make me feel, or it could be anything. So find a therapist that a lot of it is like trial and error. Not every therapist is going to work for you. Not every therapist is going to be like you're not going to mind meld with, and that's okay. But if you're nervous about going to therapy, I'm gonna be totally honest with you. You just got to do it. If you're scared of being vulnerable with a stranger, trust me, it does not get any easier than being vulnerable with a stranger. Because at the end of the day, like you're not gonna see them anywhere else. You're not gonna,
Yeah.
It's super hard to be. For me, I can't be vulnerable with like friends or family, but with my therapist, very easy. So don't be afraid to be vulnerable, especially when it's with someone who is literally legally bound to keep all of your therapy in the confines of their career. So
also to all listeners and watchers, you are not crazy. You have heard this. We did read these questions. I forgot to tell Rob. And I didn't. I just now noticed.
Wait, really?
Yeah, because I remember this specifically because Dado goes, I don't know, I never did therapy. My brain's normal. And I'm like, what's that
Oh
like?
my god! And then me and Fruit had the same thing. We were like, "Yeah, actual therapy."
How do you guys not
Dude,
remember that?
I did it as soon as you started the
Deja
question, and I was
vu.
reading, and then I was like, what? But I was going to let everyone finish.
Okay, so wait,
appreciate
where
that
did you guys stop?
I appreciate that you let me finish that, even though we did the exact same responses.
Well,
and
there maybe someone didn't
and
hear
I
that.
had the exact same. Yeah, actual therapy works for me just like Fruit does.
Well, that's
Oh
why
my god!
I was like, this sounds familiar, and then I did it, and that's when I ended. I was like, no, wait, no, we did this.
No, wait.
I think
Okay, so wait,
that might have been because we didn't get the minions with Dado. I did them. I think maybe when Mob asked for next year's summit, could we please get another Smash tournament?
Yeah.
I feel like we talked about how much work that was.
Next one is like a D2 clan question.
Yeah,
How we moderate it.
I don't know if we got like that. Might be where we finished. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I mean, hey, double dipped. Why not, right?
Therapy's tight. At Koch says, how do y'all moderate the D2 clan? We don't.
Yeah, like Arnav and stuff. Whoever's the leaders in the clan, they kind of just do their thing.
We trust them. Space.com
much, yeah.
says, if given 24 hours, then dropped into a horror game as yourselves, not in the character in game, what horror game do you think you could beat? But the other Dream Team members pick the game. Oh, okay.
Oh, if that's the case, then none. If other people are picking the game for me, no shot. No. I'm dead.
What was the question?
I'd put Christian and Slenderman. Like
I'm dead.
If you could be like in any like horror game and think you could beat, what would it be? But then apparently we get to pick the games too, I guess.
Or maybe like one, but then that's not.
I'd throw you both in the Slenderman game. That like was like one of the first like scary games I ever played on the computer.
I'm looking up best horror games. Just see if there's
Amnesia.
There's something. I mean, there's technically Returnal here. I beat that super quick, but then again, I don't know how to shoot space aliens. It was pretty. There's like this whole home segment where you have to keep going back and like babies crying and stuff, and I didn't know that. And as soon as that happened, I'm like, nope, I hate this. But like, see, the other thing is like all this, like, what? So I'm gonna have to shoot my way out. Well, then I'm dead. Like that ain't happening. You know, I'd like to think like Until Dawn. I'm like that.
Okay.
Because I look and I'm like, wow, you guys are stupid. I'd probably make stupid decisions though.
That's a good one.
But that one, I don't have to. I don't need some specific set of skills. I just, for the most part, have to not make the worst decisions possible.
Mr. Westlo, any scary games you think you could survive?
No, I'm dead, dude.
Yeah.
I would try to keep as calm as possible, but eventually I'm not good at the whole social aspect, especially with stuff like shit like the Quarry or like what's the other one? Until Dawn. Like you would think like, oh, I could do those. Nah, I'd be dead.
Here's all I would do is I would assess who seems the most capable in this group. Okay? I'm just going to group with them, and we're never going to separate. And when they tell me to separate, I'm going to be like, no. And then we don't separate. And we either die together or we live. As for you guys, I put you all both in Bloodborne.
I lose.
Yeah.
I lose in the tutorial room.
I can't even do it as a video game. You know what I'm saying? It takes me how many clears?
Space.com. If you were given 24... Oh, wait, that's what I just went. Snosbird. Hey, guys. I've been watching you guys since freshman year of high school. I'm now 21 and engaged. You guys brighten my day up with every post. My question is mostly for Fruit, but Rob and Blue, you can give your insight as well. I want to ask if there's any advice you have for someone that's getting married. Could be about the wedding or about a relationship in general.
Excuse me.
Okay, whoa.
Excuse me.
One more time. One more time for the people in the bag. That was a lot. Hit me with that one more time.
If you have any thoughts about a wedding or like relationships about getting married, like you're about to get married type of thing. Do you have any?
I would say the wedding's nice. Make sure it's an enjoyable day. Give off as many responsibilities as possible. Both of you. That's what, like, best men and or like bridesmaids, best man, best woman, all this supposed. You have event planners, blah blah blah. You just don't want to be the one having to make any decisions on that day. Enjoy yourselves, and also don't get too hung up on it because everyone's like, "Oh, this day needs to be perfect." It doesn't need to be perfect, and if it's not, it's also not like, something goes wrong. Oh, this is omen for the wedding, or like our marriage. It ain't. Enjoy the day, have fun. Make it as much as you guys want it to be, because like the usual stigma around weddings are they have to be this huge thing.
Oh my,
But
yeah.
that's just because there's a whole industry around it. And it can get expensive, so it doesn't mean, make it whatever you guys want it to be. That's the wedding part. I wouldn't worry too much about it. The relationship part, the communication.
If you're already at this point,
be honest,
right? Like,
yeah,
if you're at the point of already
done
getting
pretty
married, you
good.
should have that part kind of hopefully kind of squared away.
But even after getting married, even though they're already your wife, there's the whole thing like keep chasing them, and it's true.
I'll do a little tip that Sydney and I are doing for our wedding. We put ours off kind of at a far distance because one, that was like really the smart way for us to afford it without just being like, oh, we need to come up with this X amount of money now. But basically we are putting like all of our big down payments and stuff like that on a credit card, but having the funds already ready to pay off said credit card. So when we pay off the credit card, that gives us like points towards like miles and stuff like that. So we're gonna use our, us paying off our wedding essentially to get like miles for traveling or a hotel, who knows. Just that kind of little hack can go a long way into, having your wedding paying for like your honeymoon or something like that. But you got to be very smart with the credit card, man. That shit is scary. I got a Chase credit card that is like, I can't believe they gave me that limit. They were like, yeah, you're approved. Take it. I was like, what? Like, but it is also at a 25% APR rate, which I make sure that at the end of the statement, it has $0 on it. So they ain't charging me 25% of $0. You know what I mean?
Let them know.
Anything for you, Blue, that you can think of?
I don't really know. I'd probably just agree with Fruit. I mean, it doesn't have to be like a massive thing. I don't really have, I don't really like going to weddings, and I don't really have wedding plans in the very near future. So
it's a nice day to celebrate with friends, but it's not the end all be all.
Yeah, I think a lot of people put way too much pressure on the wedding, and it's like, oh, the sanctity of marriage, but it's like, it's it's romantic and it's cool, but like, is a government assigned form of legally being bonded the end all be all of the binds between you? I don't think so. So I wouldn't put too much weight onto it, unless you're the type of person who was like, I fucking love weddings. My wedding has to be perfect. Then you do you. But
Bridezilla. Question here from Muzzy. Says, hey, Rob, I've seen your excitement for Counter-Strike 2, especially about the skin transfer. As someone who's never played, what makes a skin more valuable, and what are those metrics? All right, well, so no, I mean, there's so many. Like, I'm not kidding you when I say this. It's literally like, I almost look at it as like a dog show. Like, there's literally like 20 different things. Like, when you look at a judge and they're like pulling up the tail of the dog and they're like looking at you look at that judge and you go, what the hell could you possibly be like looking for? And that's what people kind of, I feel like, look like, or like, look how I look, or they look at me like that when I'm looking at his skin. Like, there's 12 to 15 different things that can go into making a skin valuable versus not valuable. Whether it's factory new, battle scarred, but sometimes battle scarred skins go more than factory new because it's so rare that you get like such a low flow. Like, there's millions of things. So it would be really hard for me to sit here and explain all of the things that go into it. just basically know, I'll do it for you on a small scale. Basically, guns can be dropped from either like the low grade all the way up to covert. And then not only can they be a super rare gun, it can also drop from factory new to minimal wear, field tested, well worn, battle scarred. If it's battle scarred, that means it looks really shitty and all all this paint is chipped and it looks bad in game. Factory new is basically like it looks great, like that looks awesome. But sometimes battle scarred skins can be worth more, and that's where patterns and all that stuff come into play. So there's a million different things about why skins are expensive and why some aren't expensive. Some come from tournaments that happened 9 years ago that you can't get anymore and were only dropped during that 9-year ago tournament. So that's as far as I'm going to go with it. There's so much that goes into it. We'll do a last question here from the Madman. Says, hey guys, question for Rob. I'm really interested in starting to get tattoos, but I have no idea where to start. Eventually, I want to have a leg sleeve done and an arm sleeve, and that's the long-term goal. What's your opinion on location and size for first tattoo? I'm thinking about doing something anime-related after seeing your Irwin tattoo last GCX, but something that complicated seems to be a lot for first tattoo. I mean, this was my first tattoo. It indicates how far my hand can go in a Pringle can. So I thought, like, there's no way I'm going to regret getting that, right? So I decided to get that because I knew, like, I wanted tattoos at some point, and I always thought this design looked cool. So I was like, yeah, sure, like, why not get it? And then it kind of just and then I found 2 anime shows I really liked and got those done. And then the only reason I got, like, this one done and my Aki one is because Zeke is, like, the guy. Like, he is a homie and a friend. And he, like, made time to, like, see me. You know, most of the time you have to book him, like, a year in advance or something like that. And finding somebody that, like, and I'm not gonna, like, sugarcoat it. Tattoos are not cheap. And I'm part of the club where it's like, if you're getting something that's going to be on your body like forever, better not cheap out on it, because, like, you're gonna regret. That's like something you just don't, like, cut a corner on, in my opinion, is getting a tattoo. Like, if there's somebody you're, like, really want to get and it's gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be $800 more, well, then save up for 6 months more or however long it's gonna take to get that, because it'll be worth it than getting something you settle for on a tattoo. You know, like, I don't ever feel like I settled on any of my tattoos. That's why, like, size, location, and all that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, if you wanted, like, I say it, like, if I was a professional soccer player, I would be tatted from the neck down. I would have neck tats. I would be yatted. Like, just don't regret it. Like, no tattoo's a bad tattoo unless you regret it. That's not true. Some are really shitty.
Well, one more, because I want to ask this one. I want
okay.
I want to get the retrospective.
Okay.
All right, you ready for this one? Here, I got you.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how do we feel about Whataburger? If you haven't had it, I highly recommend the sweet and spicy bacon burger. It bangs if they make it with the right amount of sauce. I always add pickles and mayo for a little extra, for a little tart and creamy. Enjoy, guys. I want to know, because you guys have been in Texas, and I've never explicitly asked you guys what you thought of Whataburger, and I want to know. I don't think Rob's had Whataburger, actually.
No, I recently did. I forget where I had. Oh, I had it at the bachelor party.
Oh, nice.
Because I guess it's in Arizona, and my brother lives in Arizona. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna get Whataburger," and I was like, "Oh, sick." Let me see what I got. I'm looking at their menu now, because like, this was the first. I was like, "Oh, like." And then I told the whole story about, like, I had the Reese's and I had Whataburger somewhere, and somewhere in the cleanup it got, like, thrown away. So I was never able to, like, actually eat it. I want to see.
That was Shake Shack.
Yeah, that one was Shake Shack.
No, it was what?
No, that was Shake
Shack.
Sure.
Because I remember walking to Shake Shack. Yeah.
I remember it was Shake Shack, and I remember Dado and Danielle were like, "We gotta clean up," And then Rob was like, where's my Shake Shack?
Okay, so maybe it was another time I
It was your Reese's.
didn't have Whataburger, but I had the looking at it here, the bacon and cheese Whataburger. It's okay. Like, it's like a better Burger King. Mid same as Jack in the Box. I feel like I like Jack in the Box more than I like Whataburger.
You son
If
of a
that's
bitch.
yeah, like I don't know. I just feel like Jack in the Box is like equal or greater than Whataburger. Don't love it. It was okay though, but like I just got like a cliche burger. I didn't get like the sweet and spicy barbecue burger or the Whataburger patty melt or the honey barbecue strip like griller. Like,
Well, that's definitely what Whataburger is about, is the specialty burgers and the specialty sandwiches. So
I think I talked about it on the podcast. Would have been maybe a while ago. But I got some buffalo melt thing. I don't remember. Some sort of buffalo, maybe it was chicken tenders or
the
something.
buffalo chicken the buffalo chicken strip sandwich.
That could have been it. Yeah. It was pretty good. I mean, that's all I can remember. So if that tells you how much I enjoy, like, here's what I'm gonna say. Right. This has nothing to do with Whataburger.
mm-hmm.
You're gonna be hard pressed to bring me to a burger place, and I'm walking away like, whoa.
Wow.
Fair.
Like,
Very fair.
Because at this point in my life, I've just had so many burgers. Good burgers,
100%.
bad burgers. The only burger I can remember in the past very long time where I was like, this hits, was Shake Shack 2017, New York City. I was there for the league semifinals with Claire. We'd been walking, I don't know how many blocks. I hadn't eaten all day. And it was that specific Shake Shack at that specific day. That burger hit.
The lights
I
of God
immediately
shone down on the Shake Shack.
ordered another one down the hatch. A
like,
third.
I need 2 of these.
Shake Shack.
Another one. And then I made Claire take me back later that day.
Because like Shake Shack burgers
Shake Shack's
aren't
never
like
been that good.
That's
That's it. But I don't tell anyone to go to Shake Shack
burgers,
though.
I like Shake
they're
Shack
always
burgers. They're good.
It's never hit like that though.
The reason I don't tell people to go is not because they're not great, because they are great. It's just, man, they're not cheap.
Yeah,
they're a small
expensive.
burger and it's expensive. That's why I'm not like, let's go to Shake Shack right now.
But that's the thing. I've had Shake Shack since, different places. It was that specific burger on that specific day at that specific place. But like aside from that, I've had good burgers since, and I'm like, oh, that was a pretty good burger.
It's like you're content, but you're not like, this was life changing.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be like,
storm.
This is a good core memory. You know?
No, 100%.
So like, it was good. I remember I was like, this is pretty good. And then
I feel like every time you come to San Antonio, it's unfair to Whataburger because you
yeah,
always
because I got different
experiences.
experiences.
Because you always seem to have a core memory at like some Mexican place I take you to, and like you try something new, and you're like, yeah, that's a core fucking memory, Blue. I mean, I'm sorry, that's a core fudging memory,
yeah,
Blue.
Thank you. Well, that's the difference. Is like here, I can get a good burger.
Yeah,
There's a lot of good burgers, but I can't get good Mexican here. That's not even an option. And just like that, like I still remember the first time you got me queso fundido. I didn't even know it was a thing, and I'm like, this is delicious. And I can't find any good ones around here. But like like that was like because like I remember the first time I ate In-N-Out, and I was like, wow, this is really good. I was like 6. So like the amount of burgers I'd eaten at that point anyway, and I was like, this is real yummy. Same thing though, but like that was like one of the first real burgers. I was like, wow. And I eat In-N-Out now, and I'm like, it's like I eat it to
you go to the local
to try
one
and feel
you,
something
ever?
Again, you know? No, I don't bother.
I mean,
the
anytime
line's
I
still
drive
too
past
long
Thornton,
anyway.
anytime I'm driving past it, I go.
That makes sense.
Because I'm never down there. Like
I'm just not driving like 15 minutes to sit in a 30-minute line to get a burger, an In-N-Out burger, to then come back.
It do be like that.
Yeah. But yeah, so like that was my opinion on Whataburger. Whereas like this is good, but like it's not going to change my life. Like if I had Whataburger when I was growing up, I'd probably be like, dude, you got to try Whataburger, bro. This place slaps. But you know, it's just one of those things. But then trying new stuff where I was like, wow, I know, because like I still remember eating guacamole for the first time because I don't know why, but my family never ate guacamole. I don't know why.
Did not eat this sooner?
It was what freshman year of college. First time I had guacamole. Can you believe that?
Wait, no, we used to make fun of you.
Yeah.
Because you were like, I don't guacamole. And we're like, you've never had guacamole, dude? And you were just like, no, dude, it just looks gross.
Well, yeah, I hadn't until that. It was with Claire and one of her friends or something. It was like some in-dorm event, whatever. Like, we're going to make fresh guac. And I was just going because they were going. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I'm going to do. And we made fresh guac. And I was like, yeah, I've never eaten this. It was kind of disgusting. We made fresh guac. And I was like, wait.
This is amazing.
This is what guac tastes like? It looked like vomit. Then I kept getting guac. And I'm like, holy cow. Been missing out.
It's probably less intimidating when you see the ingredients that go into it before it comes out, but just as the mush.
And my family never made it or even ate it. So just same thing. It's like that was a new experience, and I liked it. I remember that. But I've had good burgers. So you give me a good burger, and I'm already, 25 years through my life. I'm like, oh yeah, I know what a good burger tastes like. This is a good burger, but throw it on the list at this point.
All right, well, that'll do it for the GG Over Easy podcast, episode 177. Thank you guys all for listening and hanging out today. We will be back next week for 170 whatever.
8.
See you guys then.
Deuces.